Hello, this is Ariel of Rogue Tech, another late night video. I just wanted to post a video response of what I'm kind of working on in response to a challenge posted by Ladygrixis off of the imtg forums, which I gotta say, stick with these. I absolutely love them. They get me thinking. I mean, I'm up, it's currently 3 a.m., so I need to be going to bed soon. But it's currently 3 a.m. and I'm working on your challenge. I just finished up a preliminary list. I don't know, I'll have to borrow Danny's deck to actually finish this and give it some testing, but we may actually give it some cardboard testing, we'll see. But the first thing that came to mind when I saw your challenge, which if you haven't seen her challenge yet, I'll post a link in the comments, but the basic idea is that you build a deck around the idea of Altar's Reap, and it's not restricted by format, but obviously my specialty is standard, so I'm going to build something in standard. This isn't exactly a budget list, but it can be turned to budget pretty quick. It's based on the idea of the mono black decks right now, but it's a little bit more devotion based, as well as it's very, very much, I'm going to drain all your life. That is the primary win condition. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the list, do a little bit of commentary on like some of the cards I picked and some of the other ideas that I've had so far. And let me double check. There it is. Okay. So right off the bat, we got 18 swamps, pretty easy addition, obviously. 3 Temple of Deceit, a little bit of Scry can be helpful, as well as 3 Nykthos. What you're going to see really quick here is this is going to have a lot more permanence than the removal heavy versions of mono black that we've been seeing a lot lately. So let's go ahead and break into the creatures. First off, this is a black devotion sub-themes, so we've got 4 Packrat. Packrat does 2 things. It gives us a lot of fodder to sacrifice, gives us a win condition, turns every single card in your hand, which you're going to have a lot of cards in this build, into a potential Packrat. And the devotion is just absolutely stupid when you've got Packrats coming into play all the time. Next, I've got 4 Drainpipe Vermin. This is actually in place of the usual Thoughtseize, just because Drainpipe Vermin gives me an early creature to sack, gives me another rat, which Packrat doesn't specify other Packrats. It says power gets +1/+1 for each other rat in play, which is awesome. Drainpipe Vermin, if you're not familiar with it, 1 black, it's out of Return to Ravnica. 1 black, 1/1, when it dies you may pay black to have a player discard a card, which with Altar's Reap you can choose when to kill it, which is awesome. And that extra devotion should come in handy, not to mention just a blocker. 4 Grey Merchant of Asphodels. Grey Merchant of Asphodel is an absolutely amazing win condition right now. I don't think it's as broken as Fanatic Amogus, but it's definitely very, very powerful. It gives you both the win condition as well as the life necessary to make the strategy work. Next we've got the 4 Nightveil Specter and 4 Desecration Demon. These are just absolute powerhouses. To be honest, the Nightveil Specters could be replaced with, I believe it's Mogus Marauder, 2 and a black for a 2/2 when it enters play. X creatures get Intimidate, where X is your devotion to black, which could be another potential win condition. I've got 1 Erebos, God of the Dead, in here. I don't want to see him very often in a deck like this, but he is another form of card draw, and with the devotion count, he should almost always be a creature. Next, we've got the 3 Heroes Downfall. Planeswalkers can be very annoying, and instant speed removal is oftentimes very necessary. So 3 Heroes Downfall. That's it for the conventional removal, because you are potentially gaining a lot of life in this deck, because getting to our next card, 2 Whip of Erebos. Whip of Erebos gives all of your creatures lifelink, very, very relevant, but also it's going to re-trigger those Grey Merchants, which, by the way, you can sack with your Altar's Reap, and just spamming life-draining effects left and right. Keeping in that theme, we've got 2 Corrupt. This is another win condition. Corrupt doesn't see much play, so I'll talk about it. It's 5 and a black. deal X damage to target creature or player, where X is the number of swamps you have in play, and then gain that much life. 4 altars reap, and then one of the very first cards I thought of when I saw this challenge was Dark Prophecy. Hasn't really had a deck yet, but this seemed perfect for it. Triple black enchantment. Whenever a creature you control dies, which you're going to be killing a lot of creatures in this, or your opponents are going to be killing a lot of creatures either way, draw a card, gain a life. And that is a lot of card draw for a mono black, which is actually kind of the thing that Danny's been complaining about in his more conventional mono black right now, is that there isn't a whole lot of card draw. I mean, you're stuck with Read the Bones in a lot of cases, which is it's not Sign in Blood. So hopefully this, I mean, giving you 8 early game 1-drops, and then you've got Nightveil Specter and Desecration Demon, you've got a pretty powerful early game, and then once you stabilize on turn 3 or turn 4, you can start drawing a lot of cards, and then gaining all your life back that you probably lost in those first couple of turns, and you should be able to outgain life above any of the aggressive decks right now. I think Monstrous is the only one that has a damage output higher than the amount of life that you'd average gain in this deck. There's also 2 Underworld Connections, again keeping with that theme of draining life to draw cards, so you've got access to all the cards in the world. And like I said, we gotta wait for Danny's deck to actually test this, because he's got basically everything in this deck except for a couple of the commons. But I think this deck could be very powerful. Some of the other ideas that I've thought of are Cryptghast, the Extort, again draining life, making for very big explosive plays off of your swamps with or without Nykthos. And then you could also splash white. White gives you access to a lot of expendable early creatures, as well as Debt to the Deathless. Double white, double black, X, target player loses X life, double X life, sorry, and you gain that amount. It might be each opponent, actually. Doesn't matter in standard matches, though. But those are just some of the other ideas I've had. I'll post a final list here in a couple of days. Hopefully we can get some cardboard testing in. I'll let you know how it's going. Hopefully this helps anyone else interested in the challenge. Now, on a separate note, some Rogue Tech news. I do have the raw footage done for the Chaos Cube. This was the original testing of it. It's 3 rounds of me and Donovan playing. We've since tested it again. We did ban 1 card. Actually, I was sitting right here. Mindslaver proved to be a little bit too powerful, so we're not going to be using that. Cut it, but we're adding cards. It is about 40 cards away from finished. But back on that raw footage, if you'd like to see it as it is now, I can go ahead and post it up, post some comments in the discussion below, let me know. Also, I am currently working on refining the videos, because it is kind of hard to tell what's going on if you're not familiar with all the cards. For anyone who's started in the last year or 2, you're not going to have any idea what's going on, because most of these cards are very old, or at least so random that you shouldn't know them even if you were around when they were played. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the actual image and I'm putting it, let's see, right about there. So you should be able to tell what the cards are, as well as I've got life totals up, which is the other thing that's kind of hard to tell what's going on. We do have a bit of banter going back between us that it kind of explains what's going on. We did our best to explain each card as it comes into play, but still it can be a little distracting. So let me know if you want to see those before I finish editing them all the way. They are about 30 minutes a piece, so it's going to take a while, unfortunately. My hope is to have them done by this weekend. It could last through to next week, though. So let me know. Thank you for watching, and again, Ladygrixis, thank you for posting your challenge.